Right, ake sikubingelele sikwamukele sawubona igama lami ngingumfanelo UPhenyibheshu ngingowakwaDzanibe isibongo. We are broadcasting live from Bramley khona lapha ke eGoli lapha ke esifundazweni ke sase Gauteng, bringing you live visuals. Okukhona ke siyazi ukuthi ke esifundazweni sase Gauteng abazali bami ngomumo balindele ukuthi ke bazi ukuthi ngabe izinto zihamba kanjani uma ngabe sikhuluma with the registration process, the online registration process ka grade 1 kanjalo no grade 8. Siyazi ukuthi ke iminyaka neminyaka ke abazali basuke bekulindelelo. Ngifuna ukuthi ke ngikhulume nawe njengomzali, what are your expectations njengoba ungqongqoshe wezemfundo kulomnyango kuwo ke umnyango wezemfundo kulesi sifundazwe sase Gauteng umhlonishwa uLebogang Maile kulindele ukuba ke ethule inkulumo la njengalokhu ke nabe indaba bekhona ayibhekise esifundazweni sase Gauteng kubazali la sizokwazi ukuthi sibheke ukuthi ke kuma online registration process ngabe ke izinto zihamba kanjani. Mawukuthi uhlezi nami nje manje ngicela nje ungiphakamisela isandla ungitshela ukuthi wena what are you expecting, what are your expectations with regards to the Gauteng Department of Education online registrations esikhuluma ke ngo grade 1 kanjalo ke no grade 8. Mhlambe ke what were your observations uma ngabe ke sibheka mhlambe ke kuleminyaka eyedlule njengoba ngikhuluma nawe nje ke vele nje kuba sila kungekudala uzokwazi ukuthi ke naye ethule yona ke inkulumo. Ake sikhulume ke mina nawe ngizwe ukuthi wena ungubani ungowakwabani. Mhlambe kwesinye isikhathi thola ukuthi ke umzali kunembuzo ocabanga ukuthi ke mhlambe noma izinto ekufanele uma ngabe sithole ithuba njengabe indaba njoba sila sizokwazi ukuthi sikhulumisane nabo sikwazi ukubabuza. If you have questions sizokwazi ukuthi ke sikhulumisane nawe. Angihambi ngedwa ke nami ngumfanelo UPhenyibheshu kaDzanibe ukhona ke uDerek Phukela shot by Hauser ukuyena ukusicontrolela ke ama camera ne VTR kanti ke ngaphakathi la kuzobe kune speech khona nenkulumo ezothulwa ke uyena ke ungqongqoshe kuzobe khona yena ke uAsisipo Fiklen ukuyena ke usithatha asibeke lapha yangaphakathi ke la kuneintatheli khona bese uthi ke ubanele oBrazo Sondlo amagama lawo wabonayo masilo sikhuluma uyena ke ukwazi ukuthi kashicilele wona kanti uyena futhi oqinisekisa ukuthi ke sisemoyeni aphinde ke futhi yaqinisekisa ukuthi yonke into ke ihamba ngokohlelo. Ukhona ke noSihle Ngwini naye sibamisene naye la kulolu suku lwanamhlanje sibonile ke zikhona ke nezikhulu ke eziphezulu kuona umnyango wezemfundo kulesi sifundazwe sase Gauteng. What are your expectations njengoba ungqongqoshe kulindeleke ukuba ayithule iyona ke inkulumo ayibhekiseke kubazali. Let me see ukuthi mhlambe ke obani ke abantu esinabo noma nje ke ngibona umuntu esinaye la sikwazi ukuthi ke sibheke ubani ke la. Mpathu Musi uthi my expectations is for children to get space where they will be able to walk to school. Ilokho ke akubhekile ubani na umpatsi Musiwu uyaphila Mpatsi Musiwu ngiyathemba ukuthi yonke into ihamba kahle konke kuhamba ke ngendlela efanele. Isikhathini esingengakanani will be having yona ke inkulumo ke yakhe ungqongqoshe womnyango wezemfundo umhlonishwa uLebogang Maile njengalokhu ke ezokwazi ukuthi ke ethule inkulumo. Okunye ke singabheka nokuthi mhlambe ka iprocess ka grade R bathini ngayo because siyazi ukuthi abanye abazali abaningi banama questions mhlambe ke ngendaba ke thinta ugrade R bazokwazi ukuthi ke bebuze sibone ukuthi ngabe yona ithini na ikakhulukazi ke iprocess ka grade R. Ngiyabona ka abanye abantu abaningi laba sithumela kama inquiries bona ke bakhala ke ngeenkinga ke zikagesi lapha ya endaweni yasesithame. We will get an update sikwazi ukuthi ke si-update with regards to indaba ethinta amandla kagesi. Wena okwakho nje ukuthi ke uhlale nathi ke sihlale nawe sibone ukuthi ke ngabe kuhamba kanjani. Let's hear what are the questions onawo. Mhlambe ke ngenzeka uthola ukuthi ufake iquestion esingase ke sidinge ukuthi nathi sidlulise ngoba okubalekile ukuthi njengoba ke silapha nje sisakaza bukhoma ukuthi ke sazi ukuthi wena idingo nazo zihamba kanjani. Ngiyakubingelela good morning igama lami ngingumfanelo UPhenyibheshu wakwaDzanibe we are broadcasting live from Bramley okuyindawo ke la ungqongqoshe womnyango wezemfundo umhlonishwa uLebogang Maile ezokwethula khona inkulumo with the process ethinta ke ama registrations uma ngabe ke ku online registrations for izpaces abafundi ukusuka ke kuka grade 1 kanjalo ke no grade 8. Okwamanje ake sithi ukukhuphula nje nali ibika bese siyabheka ukuthi ngabe izinto la zimi kanjani sizokwazi ukuthi sikuthathe sikubeke. Right, ake siphinde ke futhi sikubingelele sikwamukele asikukhumbuze uzokhumbula ukuthi ke ngonyaka owedlule ngalesi sikhathi ke ungqongqoshe umhlonishwa ke uMatume Echulwane ubeseseke ungqongqoshe kweminyangweni wezemfundo. Uma ngabe sibheka ukuthi ke ngalesi sikhathi kufanele ke kuqale ke ukufunda ngonyaka odlule uzokhumbula ukuthi ke kwabe noma nje kuwo lonyaka esikuwo ngaphambi kokuba kuqale njengoba wazi ukuthi lokho kubhaliswa njengamanje is for unyaka ka 2026-2027 okuyi unyaka ke wayo ke i-education kuma online education walonyaka aqala ukubhalisa last year siyazi ukuthi by Tuesday ngomhla ka 6 kuJanuary iGauteng yayisesenabantu ke kwisystem ebarecordile abebengakaze ke abafundi beplacewe kwakunaleyo nkinga ka 4858 kubafundi kanti ke kwaku 1381 ngokwabafundi ke bakwa grade 1 bese kuthi ke 3477 learners bona ke bekungabafundi ke bakwa grade 8 uzokhumbula ukuthi ke isibalo ababesitholile kulokho nangokuka grade 1 ngokwama applications ababewatholile aye 175,792 ku grade 1 bese kuthi ke kuma applications ababewatholile kuma online registrations abafundi ke bebe 182,782 ngokomnyango ngaleyo ndlela ke ubheke kodwa ke soke sibheke ke ikakhulukazi ke ekuruleni siyazi ukuthi iyona ndawo eyayithanda ukuthi ke ibe nencindezi ke enkulu ngoba ke u3169 abafundi ke okwagcina ke kungakuka grade 8 ikakhulukazi ke endaweni zaseThembisa njengoba kuyindawo zako sekuruleni north izona indawo ke zinokuba nezinkinga eziningi uma ngabe ke abafundi kufanele uthola ukuthi ke bayakwazi ukuthi beplace ezinye ke zezinkinga nekho ezisuke ziba khona kodwa ke okwanamhlanje ngicabanga ukuthi ke umzali kufanele ke aqaphele ukuthi ke abe ayilungiselele ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi information nanokuthi ke kwenziwa kanjani kuba balekile Charity Dube naye ke uthi ke uyabonga njengalokho ke sihlezi naye la naye ke ePaula esikhathini ke singengakanani la sizokwazi ukuthi ke sithathe ke intambo singene sizokuthi ke uMEC uzokwazi ukuthi akhulume athini ngicabanga ukuthi ke sekumngomumo okay
and the director responsible for the online registration. MEC Maile is going to take us through a statement and the process about the 2027 online admissions. MEC?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, and I will just read through the statement. The Gauteng provincial government remains steadfast in its commitment to building a modern, transparent and efficient public education system that provides every learner with a fair opportunity to access quality education. Central to this commitment is the Gauteng online admission system, which has fundamentally transformed the way learner admissions are administered and strengthened government's ability to plan for one of the largest public education systems on the African continent. Online admissions are far more than an annual registration process. Every application submitted by a parent contributes directly to government's planning for teacher provisioning, classroom allocation, learner transport, school nutrition, learner support material, furniture infrastructure development, and budget allocations. The integrity, accuracy, and timelines of every application therefore determine how effectively government responds to the growing demand for quality public education across Gauteng. Gauteng continues to accommodate the largest public education system in South Africa, serving more than 2.4 million learners across 2,111 public ordinary schools, comprising 1,417 primary schools and 694 secondary schools, including schools of specialization. Between 2025 and 2026 alone, learner enrollment increased by more than 23,000 learners, representing demand equivalent to approximately 19 additional schools, each capable of accommodating around 1,200 learners. These figures reflect the continued impact of rapid urbanization, population growth and migration into Gauteng, while highlighting the increasing pressure placed on education infrastructure and public resources. Since its introduction in 2015, the Gauteng online admissions system has replaced the outdated manual admissions process that forced parents to queue outside schools for days in the hope of securing placement. Over the past 10 consecutive years, learner placements through the system have increased annually, culminating in approximately 400,000 grade 1 and grade 8 learners being successfully placed during the 2025 admissions cycle. The system continues to improve service delivery by eliminating long queues, promoting transparency, strengthening planning through a centralized database, supporting capacity-based learner placement, and ensuring that admissions are administered consistently throughout the province. The department continues to improve the online admission system through annual stakeholder reviews involving parents, school governing body associations, principals, school administrators, district officials, and provincial call center agents. Their recommendations guide ongoing enhancement to ensure that the system remains efficient, equitable, accessible, and responsive to the needs of parents and learners. While occasional technical challenges may arise during periods of exceptionally high demand, our commitment remains one of continuous improvement, innovation, and better public service. Having strengthened the system, our responsibility now is to ensure that every parent understands how to apply correctly. Successful admissions begin with careful preparation. Parents and legal guardians should familiarize themselves with the application process, gather all the required supporting documents, verify the accuracy of their personal information, and identify suitable schools before beginning the online application. Proper preparation reduces unnecessary errors, avoids delays, and significantly improves the efficiency of the admissions process. Every applicant will be required to complete the department's compulsory 5-step application process. This includes registering the parent or legal guardian, registering the learner's residential address, capturing the learner's personal details, applying to a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 public schools, and finally, uploading or submitting all required supporting documents within 7 school days after completing the online application. Registration alone does not constitute a valid application. An application will only be regarded as complete once every compulsory step has been successfully concluded. Parents are encouraged to select schools responsibly. While it is understandable that every parent may have a preferred school, applying to only 1 or 2 schools may reduce the likelihood of successful placement if those schools reach capacity before the learner is considered. Selecting between 3 and 5 schools, particularly those located within the learner's applicable feeder zone, improves placement opportunities while enabling government to utilize available school capacity more effectively. Placement remains subject to the applicable admissions, regulations, and the approved capacity of each school. Supporting documents remain one of the most critical components of the admissions process. Parents must ensure that every document submitted is authentic, certified, where required, and consistent with the information captured on the online admission system. Required documentation includes identification document, proof of residence, proof of work address where applicable, grade 7 reports for grade 8 applicants, and immunization records for grade 1 applicants. These documents are fundamental to learner placement, feeder zone verification, infrastructure planning, and the equitable allocation of public resources. All supporting documents must be uploaded to the system or submitted directly to each selected school within 7 school days after the online application has been completed. Proof of home address remains the single most important document during the admissions process. Placement can only be confirmed once the learner's ordinary place of residence has been verified. Parents are therefore urged to ensure that their proof of residence accurately corresponds with the information captured on the system. The department continues to support rigorous verification processes, including home visits where necessary, to protect the integrity of learner admissions and ensure fairness for all applicants. The submission of fraudulent proof of residence, falsified identity documents, or any other dishonest information undermines equitable access to education, distorts government planning, and may result in disqualification of the application, criminal investigation, and other legal consequences. We also caution parents against individuals or businesses that promise guaranteed placement in exchange for payment. No public school place in Gauteng is for sale. The Gauteng Department of Education does not charge any fee for assisting parents with online admissions, and every official support service remains completely free. Parents are encouraged to report all allegations of corruption, bribery, or admissions fraud through the appropriate channels. Public education is a constitutional right and must never be compromised by unlawful conduct. To ensure that every family receives the support they require, the department has established 48 decentralized walk-in centers, including all 15 district offices, the Gauteng Department of Education head office, and every public school across the province to assist parents throughout the admission process. Applicants are advised to register one reliable cell phone number as every stage of the admissions process, including application confirmation, document verification, reminders, and placement offers will be communicated through SMS notifications. Parents are strongly encouraged not to change cell phone numbers during the admission cycle unless absolutely necessary. The online admission system currently serves learners entering grade 1 and grade 8 only. Parents whose children are currently enrolled in grade R must still apply online for admission to grade 1, as grade R learners are not automatically promoted into grade 1 at the same school. Applications for grade 2 to 7 and grade 9 to 12 must be submitted directly to schools. Parents applying to schools of specialization should note that Gauteng currently has 37 schools of specialization across 5 specialized disciplines: mathematics, science, ICT, engineering, commerce and entrepreneurship, performing and creative arts, and sports. Learners applying to these schools may also be required to complete placement tests, auditions, or sporting trials in accordance with the applicable admission regulations. Ultimately, the success of the online admission system depends on a partnership between government, parents, schools, and communities. Every honest application strengthens government's ability to plan accurately, expand infrastructure where it is most needed, appoint educators appropriately, and ensure that every learner enjoys equitable access to quality education. It is in this spirit that we continue to champion the principle that it takes a village to raise a child. Accordingly, we are pleased to announce that applications for admission to grade 1 and grade 8 for 2027 academic year will officially open at 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, 5 August 2026, and close at 12 midnight on Friday, 4 September 2026. During this period, all parents and legal guardians seeking placements for learners entering grade 1 or grade 8 at the public school in Gauteng must submit their applications exclusively through the Gauteng online admission system. Parents must register using new login credentials, as previous usernames and passwords will not be valid, and no new applications will be accepted once the application period has closed. We encourage every parent and legal guardian to apply as early as possible, submit authentic supporting documents, follow every step of the application process carefully, and make full use of the department's official support services whenever assistance is required. Together, through honesty, partnership, and responsible participation, we will continue strengthening public confidence in our education system while ensuring that every learner is afforded the opportunity to learn, grow, and realize their full potential. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC and the panel. Before we go to a round of questions, we will have a demo video playing in the screens. It is also live.
Because of the light. Yeah. Yeah, darling.
Kunjalo ngempela ke njengoba ke nawe uyizwela inkulumo ke le kaNgqongqoshe womnyango wezemfundo esifundazweni ke saseGauteng umhlonishwa ubaba ke uLebogang Maile ethula ke inkulumo njengoba kuzwa ukuthi ke kubaluleke kangakanani ukuthi ke nokho bekwazi abazali ukuyilungiselela bekwazi ukuthi njengalokho kuzovulwa ke ngokusemthethweni mangabe sizwe kahle sonke ngomhla izinsuku ke ezinhlanu ngenyanga ka-August kuya ke ngenyanga ke kaSeptember mangaphazami lapha nge4 lapho ke kuzobe seke kuvalwa khona. Kubalekile ke ukuthi ke mhlambe ke abazali njengalokho ke sibheke kuyo inyanga kaAugust kule nyanga ezayo bekwazi ukuyilungiselela belungise zonke imfanelo ke ezifunekayo. Ngiyazi ukuthi ke abantu ke la esinabo kuThembisa online ikhona ke imibuzo abanayo ababhekile ukuthi ke ngabe kuhamba kanjani. Ngifuna ukubona ke nje ukuthi ke uba nomunye la sibone ukuthi ke mhlambe ngokwemibuzo yabo abanayo bathini. Kanti ke ngiyafisa lo live no share abazali bebe ne-information ngoba siyaye sibe nezinkinga zabazali uthola ukuthi umuntu ublank akazi nanokuthi kwenzakalani. Sibe sikwazile ukuthi ke sifake into ezifana nalezi. uCynthia Shabangu uthi ke kuyaye kwenziwe njani uma ngabe engenayo ke lapha ya i-proof of address. Sizobuza ke lo mbuzo sithole ukuthi ke ngabe kuhamba kanjani. Sibonga nakuhlengiwe hle naye ke sihlezi naye la ngiyabona ke noPula yamahlonolo mashamayite naye ngomunye ke wabantu abakhona. Ake sibheke ukuthi ke ngabe ke kwenzakalani la ngaphakathi sokwazi ukuthi mhlambe ke eminye imibuzo sikwazi ukuthi sijikijele.
Then click on Next Step. The terms and conditions.
kunjalo ngempela ke ngibuka i2027 online admissions applications period singaqinisekisa ukuthi ke ngokumemezela kwakhe ungqongqoshe uthi ke bajabulile ukuthi ke beannounce ukuthi ke ugrade 1 kanjalo no grade 8 for the academic year of 2027 will officially open on Wednesday the 5th of August ngo-8 ekuseni kuyavulwa kuze ke kuvalwe ke at midnight on the 4th of September 2026. During this period uyachaza ukuthi ke abazali kanjalo ke nalabo ababheke izingane bazokwazi ukuthi ke babe naleli thuba lokuthi bekwazi ukwenza njani na ukuthi ke beapply online njengamanje basadlala nje ke cishe kama video esokwazi ukuthi nawe siwathole ngokuhamba kwesikhathi sikufakele wona nanenkulumo ke yakhe ungqongqoshe egcizelela la ngaphakathi la ngithi kuno asesipho Fikland khona okubalekile ke uzobe sekuba nemibuzo ke mhlambe ezoba khona ibuya kuzona ke izintatheli okwethu ukuthi ke makusuka lapho kuyona ke imibuzo ke yazo ke izintatheli siphinde ke sizwe mhlambe ke ukuphendula kwakhe ungqongqoshe njengalokhu ke eqeda ke ukwethula yona ke inkulumo kuningi ke nokho ke okubalekile njengalokhu ke esho ukuthi ke futhi ke ngokwezinye ke izinto neminxa isupport bathi the support available to parents the online admission system currently serves learners entering grade 1 and grade 8 kubalekile ke futhi nakho ukuthi ke ukunote ukuthi mangabe ingane yakho ifunda ke ugrade R akusho ukuthi ke leso sikole efunda kuso ugrade R automatically sekukuthi ke vele isiyingane ke esithathiwe ka grade 1 it is important for you as a parent ukuthi ukwazi ukusebenzisa ke leli thuba kanjalo ke ukwazi ukuthi ke ufake isicelo ilokho ke nje okubalulekile ngicabanga ukuthi ke futhi nangokwezikole ezikhona la eGauteng ubalekile ukuthi ke nawe njengomzali kuma online registration ube uzilungiselela kusemanje ngifuna ukuchecka ke la ngibona ukuthi ke mhlambe ke iphi ke eminye iminxa ebalekile cishe ke abazali ekufanele ke bekwazi ukuthi ke nokho beyibheke lokho ke nje ke okunye okubalulekile so phinde ke futhi ke sibuyele ngaphakathi ngekudala sibheke ukuthi ke ngabe ke izimo zihamba kanjani uzokhumbula ukuthi ke lolu hlelo lwasungulwa ke ngonyaka ka2015 njengalokho ke kuhlangana iminyaka eyishumi lokho ke laqala ukusungulwa ukuze ke kubhekwe ukuthi ngabe ke izinto zihamba kanjani ngalo lohlanganisa ke 10 years lolu hlelo sibhekile ke ukuthi ke ngabe ke iziphi ke izinto ezingakwazi ukuthi ke zibukeke kuso ke lesi simo ake senze kanje sibone ukuthi ke ngabe kwenza kanjani khona ibika sokwazi ukuthi siqhubeke nohlelo.
the feeder zones. The same question as that of Suzukile, whether kids who are in the townships can study in the suburbs. And maybe you must ask another question, whether kids who are in the suburbs can study in good township schools, because we've got a lot of good township schools. A lot. In fact, if you look at our just matric results, check the number of schools in the townships that gets more than 80%, firstly. I'm starting with more than 80%, and that gets 100%. And look at the township schools that produces bachelor passes, township schools that produces distinctions and girl learners, and you can go on and on. So no one is prevented from going anywhere. That's not the point. The point is we've got a huge learner population that is growing every year because of in-migration into the province. And we've got limited schools. So we have to be responsible in how we manage the resources at the disposal and making sure that every learner is entitled to quality learning and teaching and quality education. That's what we are dealing with. So there are kids, who move, and the reason why we've got the system is that the system is able to guide us objectively. If school X is full, we're able to look at school Z, school Y, school. That's why there are options on the a system that parents can at least identify about 5 schools so that they can have options. So it's not like we've got schools in abundance, and it's easy for us to just allocate every learner. We want every learner to be in class, and we are trying our best with the limited resources. And we're not giving any kids of immigrants priority. That's not true. We are, and that's why we are saying we need documentation, and we also state which documentation is needed. So South African citizens who might be having difficulties with documentation for one reason or the other will also be helped. And as I've said, every case will be dealt with based on its merit. And we are, as previously experienced, expecting that people will provide documentation. However, we want to caution those who might be providing fraudulent documents, like fraudulent addresses, that they will be prosecuted, because we know that there are people who do this, and previously we have been able to identify a few of them. So proof of residence is proof of residence. It proves where you stay. It can be your bank statement, it can be your water and electricity bill. So it's proof of residence. When you go to a bank and they want a proof of residence, we don't ask them what is proof of residence, we give them. So proof of residence is proof of residence. Yes, there are enough centers, and that's why we said there's about 48. One, but two, there's all schools, 15 districts. That's more than enough. More than enough. 2,000 schools, it's more than enough. So, and for the whole month, it's more than enough. yeah, I think I've dealt with those. And then, Chief Director, any additions?
Thank you, MEC. I think just to also give a little bit of comfort in terms of the applications and relocations. So MEC has said it correctly that what is important is to have your application in the system when we open and before we close. That's quite key. When your application is in the system, you would then furnish the department with the necessary documents that talks to your relocation. Because you in the system, then the application can be transferred to a school where you are relocating. So what is important is apply and have an application in the system. The other issues they'll be dealt with through the system to wherever the parent is relocating to. Secondly, I think MEC has really covered the fact that our schools in the township are actually doing way better. If you really want to look at quality of education in terms of the bachelors, in terms of the pass percentages and pass rates, look at our schools in the township. And the admissions regulations are also very clear. The admissions regulations are saying we will prioritize applicants who live closest to the school because we want learners to walk to school. We don't want learners to be in taxis and buses and traveling long distances. It's just not educationally sound. So we want them to be able to walk to the school from home, and we also want to place schools in the care of the communities where their learners are, so that they can care and look after those schools, because those are the schools that are serving those communities. The last thing that I want to also talk to is the fact that the system deals with an ID number. It doesn't deal with a human being as in a name and a surname only, but it deals with an ID number. So it does not know color, creed, or nationality. So there is no ways that the system can prioritize certain nationalities over others. So it does not deal with that. What is important is the ID number that you put into the system. And by the way, those ID numbers are also validated through Home Affairs. So as you apply, Home Affairs will be validating your ID number to authenticate it. So the system is very tight, and it's very secure in terms of such issues. Thanks.
Any additions?
No, covered. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There's also another question from Mrs. Zal of the Network 24. It says, originally, GDE had said the grade R's will be included in this process. So they want to know what causes the delay and when will the grade R's be included. So we'll also take another round if there's any further questions. Are there any? Mike?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Number 1?
Yeah.
By listening to 12 for SABC News again. Now, this question is to the lady. In South Africa, there's a constitution where people are given the freedom of choice. And to a certain extent, the online registration process has somewhat taken away that freedom of choice in terms of what school someone would want to go to, you know. If children can only walk to school and the system is created so that children can walk to school, that means that children who stay in the townships must stay and go to schools in the townships. And those schools tend to have a challenge of discipline at times, where if there is a protest in the community over service delivery, the children are then told to not to go to school, they're prevented from going to school. And if as a parent you choose not to expose your own child to that kind of environment where schooling can stop at any moment, given the fact that there is unhappiness within the community, and you choose a school that is outside of that community, is that a crime or is that not allowed anymore? Does that mean that all children must go to a school where they can walk to? Secondly, there are challenges with regards to, even though the system does not recognize creed or nationality, but there have been allegations where principals or something have taken bribes in order to take on the children of illegal migrants or migrants who are staying in the country. What are you doing to investigate such allegations and to ensure that those allegations do not stand in the way, or that act or practice does not stand in the way of legitimate South Africans who are in need of schooling? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. My name is Kopake Ghana from Kasi Maverick. What are the placement numbers and available space looking like, specifically in Soweto? Are local schools among the overcrowded ones?
Number 3.
Thank you. My name is Nick Lele. I'm from Ecole Josie News. I just need a clarity on the proof of residence. Normally in the townships, MEC, people go to the council's office and ask for a proof of address, and the council will just scribble that paper, the ready-made one, and just give. So, in terms of government, in terms of what you government is saying, what is the proper proof of address? And the second question, in HOD, this one is for you. Please make sure you get a strip, especially for us who are publishing online, a strip of that online admission. The last time I got this was 3-4 years back. In the past, we would write these stories every day, now and then. But when it comes to that advert, that strip, it helps government, so people can be aware that online admission is open now. Please, I'm putting it to you as HOD. Make sure we get a strip. It's not expensive. Eh? We put it on our website and it looks nice. It flashes. And yeah, thank you.
Another question on the online platform from Mr. Sondlo. It says, how does it happen that a school like Affairs in Pretoria is 95% white in Afrikaner? And what are measures taken to disrupt white supremacy? Thank you very much.
Yeah. The question about, Miss Zal, yes. I think she's correct that we were supposed to introduce the grade R's this year, but we are not yet ready. So we will do them next year. We're working on that. Yes, we have previously said we will do them this year or soon, but we are not yet ready. We will definitely do it next year. We don't want to do it for its own sake and the next thing we are found not ready. We want to make sure that once we start that process, we are ready. You know, Mbali, and I know you said you want Chief Director to answer. She would answer you, but there is no system that is limiting any freedom of choice. Everybody has got freedom of choice. But if you are in Bryanston High and you live opposite Bryanston High, and Bryanston High takes 1,200 learners, and you already have 1,400 learners. So what must Bryanston High do? They must continue admitting more learners, because Mbali has got a freedom of choice. Mbali wants to be in Bryanston High. They are overcrowded. So what must they do? That's the real situation, by the way, what I'm telling you. It's not, and that's why you've got classes where there's 70 learners, 80 learners. That's not conducive for learning. So people have got rights. Government has got a responsibility to provide quality education. The next thing, if these classes are overcrowded, you will be writing stories that classes are overcrowded and that government is irresponsible. So there is no one who is challenging anyone's freedom of choice. We must be realistic. That's what we are dealing with. We've got 50,000 people every year coming to Gauteng. 50,000. In Gauteng, there were 1.4 million learners in 1995. As we speak today, there's 2.4 million in public schools. So this is not a small matter of semantics and looking, trying to look good on our part, because we're dealing with a real situation. Very, 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 very difficult situation. It's not easy to manage public schools in Gauteng. And there are very, 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 very few, and you can count them, incidents of disruptions in our township schools recently. Very, very, very few. You can count them. Most of our schools, whether townships or suburban schools, have improved. And that's why you'll get a school like, what is that school that got #1, which is in mobile classes? Lufereng. They are in mobile temporary classes, but they still get 100%. And not only once, more than once. And we can give more other examples about township schools. So this thing of trying to create an impression that township schools are dysfunctional, I think has to be challenged with facts. You must give us facts. We are giving you facts about matric results, for example. Give us facts. Show us. Just say to us, all kids who are in townships are failing matric. And that's why people must not be in the townships. Show us facts. And we can give you facts about the good work that educators who are in these schools are doing good work. And the issue of bribery and corruption, it is there. And that's why we are saying we do not want to dismiss it. And that's why we are saying parents and everybody must bring it to our attention, must report to the authorities, must report to the police, because it cannot be accepted. If there's any of our employees who's going to be found to have taken a bribe to help, claiming that they can help to secure space for anyone, we will dismiss those people, and we will also open criminal charges against them. And in fact, the public must not be misled and try to buy space. It doesn't work. It's not going to work. It will backfire badly. They could end up in jail. OPA. Where's OPA? Yeah, you're asking about overcrowding. Overcrowding is everywhere. It's everywhere. I will refer you to the statement I have issued on the state of infrastructure and overcrowding in Gauteng. And we give details that out of all our 15 districts, there's only one district that has no crisis. Only one, in Dzanibe. All the 15 districts have. And in that statement, we also say that overcrowding in our schools is sitting at 64%. In that statement, we also mention that to alleviate overcrowding, we need 200 schools. And to build 200 schools, we need 35 billion rands. These are the realities. We dealt with it. We have issued a statement on the state of education, a statement on overcrowding and infrastructure in our schools, and we gave you the number. So we can give you a copy of that statement. You will see that the problem is big. And that's why we're asking for the public to cooperate and help us to deal with the issue. People, Mr. Cele, who go to councillors, it's not rife. Our townships have got addresses. They've got bills. Municipalities give people bills. Whether they're paying or not, it's something else.
They know more, municipalities no more issue. ESCOM is no more issue. Never post office is functional.
Yeah, but I'm saying to you, I do receive my bill. I don't know, I receive my bill because I pay. So what I'm saying is that what happens, Mr. Cele, with these patrons, South Africans, when they go to their banks to transact? What happens? And maybe that will help us. Because I don't think we should expect government to operate differently and government to accept informality and accept wrong things because it's government. But when people go to the banks, they don't come with those stories. They find proof when they go to the banks, when they open accounts. But when it's government, why must we accept wrong things? No, we want proof of address. That's what we want. If you are able to provide it in the bank, why don't you provide it to us? It can't be right. It can't be right. I mean, how would we verify? Why must we make things difficult and then complain when things are difficult? We make them difficult and then we complain. And I think it's high time that we have to tell each other the truth as citizens and government. You expect the best from government, and the government should give you the best. But you should also play your part as a citizen, so that you don't expect that we must fix the education system and make sure that there's quality education, but you don't want to provide us with information that will help us to make right decisions. Because as we are saying, online system, it's not just about registration. It helps us to know and plan better in terms of how many desks and chairs must we buy, how many learner-teacher support materials must we buy. It helps us to know if we need temporary classes and where do. And that's why we're doing that registration early. This year, in August, by September, we should be knowing and planning for the reopening of the schools. But as we have seen previously, there are people who stay and who don't come to register and they come in January. It can't be right. It's wrong. And the law says every learner must be in school. Education is compulsory. We've got the responsibility to uphold the law as the government, and we need to make sure that happens. Yeah, I think issues of advertising and all that, Mr. Cele, they are noted. Yeah. Sol Ndlovu, I think I want to go to this school. I was talking about, check what is referring to. But one of the reasons why we've got an online system is to help us, to deal with interference by administrators at school level. So it will be interesting to look at that school. It will be interesting to look at that school and to even look at the applications they would have received in the last 3-4 years and what has happened. So I don't want to comment about something that I don't know, but I hope you've got the name of the school correctly. I will visit that school just to understand what is happening, so that we don't just accuse each other of things that are not verified. But I will look at that. Chief Director.
Yes, thank you, MEC. Mbali, just to add on to what MEC has said, your freedom is also finding expression in our regulations, because our regulations are saying you can apply to schools within 30 kilometers of your address. You can apply to schools using your work address. You can apply to schools beyond 30 kilometers of your home address. So that's the freedom that you have. However, we also all understand that with freedom, you can't have your freedom without limitations. So limitations comes with the rules, and the simple rule is we will prioritize people that are living closest to the school. So if you live furthest to the school, surely we will not prioritize you. However, there are schools, Mbali, where out of all the applications, they can place everybody up to the beyond 30 kilometers. So those people are catered for. So there is no limitation in terms of whether we're curtailing people's freedom to apply to schools. That's just what I wanted to add. But lastly, to say, MEC said it correctly. Every school has a particular capacity. You can't place beyond a capacity. If for grade 8 you only have 100 spaces, you have 100 spaces and you're going to place 100 learners, so you can't really place 200 learners. I just want to say to Saul, the school that you are referring to, within that vicinity, there's other schools that are offering only English, not Afrikaans. But also, just to remind ourselves, remember that for every school, as parents and SGPs in those schools, we determine the language of teaching and learning in that particular school. But for us as a department, if a school is utilized fully, that there is no single space that we can say we can place one learner, you can't go and disrupt that school and say, let's disrupt you and place a different language. Yes, we can, but there are processes. If there's space to do it, we will do it. But at this point, this particular school MEC that they're referring to, it's utilized fully. And close to that school, there's quite a number of schools. There's your Pretoria boys, Pretoria girls, your Pretoria Tech. So there's the Glen. There's a number of schools that are only offering English. So we do understand that, and the system is also assisting us, because where schools have a declined number of applications, then we can see in the system, and we can also identify where we need to start utilizing, because we want to utilize government resources fully. Then we start utilizing those classrooms, and then we put the language that we require to put in that classroom, additional classroom in a school. Thanks.
Thank you very much, MEC, on the panel. Colleagues, if there are any further questions, we'll take them as interviews, one-on-ones. We want to appreciate you for having attended. I therefore adjourn our press conference. Thank you.
Remember you answered this question?
Yes, I answered this question again.
Which one?
The same one, Afis.
Oh,
I even sent him the document. She answered it.
when? Now?
No,
That,
some.
Oh.
the group that is passionate about that school. Pretoria.
If they qualify, they must apply.
No, they must apply,
And
because we need to know
And
whether
the policy
there's...
is not
Yes.
determined by us. It's a
Yes.
school government.
Right, ake siphinde ke sikubingelele sikwamukele sawubona igama lami ngingumfanelo UPhenyibheshu ngingowakwaDzanibe isibongo. There you have it, njengoba ke ubonile kwethulwa ke inkulumo bekhona ke nabo kabazi phathi mandla kuona ke umnyango wezemfundo esifundazweni saseGauteng la kwethulwa khona ke uhlelo njengalokhu ke sekumenyezelwe ungqongqoshe womnyango wezemfundo umhlonishwa uLebogang Maile. Uzwile ke ukuthi ke mzali kusuka manje iprepare noma zilungiselele ngomhla ka5 ku-Augusta ngo-8 ekseni kuyavulwa ke i-online registrations for grade 1 no grade 8 esifundazweni saseGauteng. Kanti ke okunye ke uzwile ukuthi ke kuzobe sekuvalwa at midnight ngomhla ka4 ku-September 2025. So kusho ukuthi wena ke unethuba elanele futhi ke ekubaleke ukuthi ke ukwazi ukuthi ke ulisebenzise ngendlela ke efanele. Sibonga ukuthi ke nawe uhlezi nathi sizozama ukuthi ke sibone ukuthi ke wobani singakhulumisana nabo ukuze ke mhlambe ke imibuzo eninayo ikwazi ukuthi ke sinibuzele yona ibese ke iyaphenduleka. What are the questions that you have with regards to lokhu ke okwenzekayo khona la sibona ke ezinye zeindaba ezingena njengamanje nje kubuya ukuthi ke umongameli wezaseningizimu Afrika umhlonishwa ubaba ke lapha ya uRamaphosa usemise emsebenzini the JSC advise JSC advises Ramaphosa to suspend Selby Mbeneng. Uzokhumbula ukuthi cha akakabe isinqumo esithathiwe, it's an advice ebuya ke lapha ke kwi Judicial Service Commission ilokho ke esingaqinisekisa ukuthi ake senze kanje ke sisibona ukuthi ke njengoba silana nje kwi Gauteng admissions online sihamba kanjani. So bheka ke imibuzo eninayo njengabazali sibone ukuthi ke ngabe ihamba kanjani. So kwazi ukuthi ke njengalokho ke sila sibe nethuba lokukhulumisana nabo kabaziphathe imandla ukuze ke sibone ukuthi ngabe imiphi imibuzo esingakwazi ukuthi ke si unpack uma ngabe ke isimo sinjenganjena nje. Ngicela ke nikwazi ukushare nwazise nabanye abazali ngoba uma sekufika isikhathi kuyaye kube nokutatazela. Ake senze kanje sibikhuphula ibika sibone ukuthi sibuya nobani. there we have it. Njengoba ke sishilo ukuthi ke sokwazi ukuthi ke sikhulumisane ke nephathimandla. Ngiphinde ngikubingelele sawubona igama umfanelo UPhenyibheshu wakwaDzanibe Thembisa online. Sisasekulo udaba oluthinta the admissions registration mangabe sikhuluma ke ngayo iGauteng Department of Education. Sibheka ukuthi ngabe kuhamba kanjani for grade 1 and also grade 8. Nangaphandle kokuchitha isikhathi sizoba naye ke umangqingqiza kulomnyango okuyena kuzosichazela ukuthi ke irole ayiphethe ngabe ihamba kanjani. Good day madam.
Good day sir, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good.
Yes. Can you please take time just ukuthi introduce usichazele ukuthi your name and surname and also the role that you play with department?
Igama lami Miss Mule Madonsela. I'm the Chief Director for School Management. Admissions, it's just but one part that falls under my administration, but I also do admissions for special schools, independent schools, so yeah, I do quite a lot.
Thank you. Tell us about the today's briefing. What are the highlights before we speak about the 5 steps and also the do's and don'ts from the parents?
The highlights of today's briefing really is to inform the parents ukuthi sibatshele ukuthi they must know and be ready that on the 5th of August we're going live so that they apply, because mabang apply, particularly your grade 1 and grade 8, then they don't have their details in the system, then we can't place them, because we can only place you in grade 1 and grade 8 if you're in the system. And the reason why specifically grade 1 and grade 8, it's because that's the entry grade for each phase. So a primary school, ungenaga grade 1. A secondary school, ungenaga grade 8. So in between, 3 registration in a school, which happens in the school but not online.
Before we talk about the do's and don'ts and also the 5 steps, I've heard you also isolated the grade R, and why is that? And just briefly.
We isolated the grade Rs because at this current moment we have infrastructural issues. So we don't have enough classes to cater for all the grade Rs that we have in the province. So rather than choose, to give others and not the rest, we are planning as a department to go live with grade R next year. So we are now working on resources and ensuring that we provide all the resources. By the way, resources are not only classrooms. You need teachers, you need LTSM, you need so many resources. So we are working on the resources to plan for grade R going into the system in 2027.
Mouthful. Tell us about, as we are now heading to the opening day for the admissions, what are the 5 steps that parents should be looking at when they prepare the documents and also just getting ready to make sure that they apply?
So the 5 steps that parents must be looking at is, first of all, parents must register themselves and create an account on our system. That's very important. That's step number 1.
Okay.
But
are you doing that while it's open, or I can do it prior?
You can't do it prior, because we had a year when we did it prior, but a lot of parents just went in, registered themselves, never came back to apply. So it's really a serious problem. So you do all the 5 steps all at once. So 1 step, you register yourself as a parent, you open an account, you will definitely get an SMS that confirms your username and your password so that you don't forget. And that's also the reason why we say parents must not change cell phones, even though the system has a functionality that allows them to update and change their cell phones. But we really want them to keep the cell phones, because that's our way of communication with the parents. Step number 2, the parents must then register their details in the system. That's number 2. When they finish registering their details, including their address, where they live, because what's really important with our placement engine is looking at the address and figuring out in terms of the feeder zones where your address is in line with the feeder zones. Step number 3, the parent must then make sure that they register the child's details.
Okay.
After registering the child details, they must go apply for a school. Once they've applied for the school, then they must upload details. So what is also critical is that when they upload documents, in the system, there are placeholders for different documents. There's a placeholder for an ID. There's a placeholder for a proof of residence. There's a placeholder for a child's birth certificate. There's a placeholder for a report card, particularly when you apply for grade 8. So once they do that, every person that goes into the system, if you've applied to that school, they will see those documents, so you do it once. But there's also another option where parents can go deliver those documents at the school. But the problem with when you deliver, you must deliver at each and every school where you've applied. Those documents must also be certified. It's very important that they are certified. But what I really want to say to parents, when they go to internet cafes, they must be very careful, because we've seen it in the past. Internet cafes would be assisting parents. They would register the detail of this one parent. Then they continue to register children under the same parent. Then later, those parents don't get SMSs, don't get anything, and the children are not placed because they don't belong to that particular parent. So it becomes a problem. When they register or they use internet cafes, they must just make sure that as they register, when they register themselves, they must get that SMS that provides you with your username, and then you know that everything will be coming to you as a parent. Your child is not registered up under somebody else.
So you'd rather use an internet cafe to log in yourself?
Yes, you can rather use an internet cafe to log in yourself. But I think there's a lot of places where they can get help. There's every school they can go, every office they can go. But now we're also talking to Department of Sports to make some libraries available where parents can go to those libraries to be assisted. And in some of the districts, they also have community like CCCs and other places where they will be having people that will be assisting parents. So help is out there, and it's a lot. One of the things that we're doing is parents can also access the app on the phone. You don't have to go and queue somewhere. You have a phone, you can access. Vodacom in particular, I think, and MTN, if I'm not wrong, they are 0 rated. So you don't even need data. And we are in communication with Telkom and the others to 0 rate as well, so that parents don't need data to apply.
Wow. So I was listening to you, and also you have been touching on the do's and don'ts, but just to briefly explain wider, what are the do's and don'ts that you think you might have not touched, especially by the parents, because parents will always be parents?
The first thing that I really want to say to parents is don't be tempted to want to apply to schools that are far. Because when you click in the system, it will give you the schools that cover your address. You are safe in those schools. You know your child will be placed. You can still use your freedom of application and apply to schools that are 30 kilometers beyond. However, chances are you will not be placed in that school. And these are the parents that will always come back and fight that my child is not placed. And the other thing that I really want to plead with parents is don't apply to one school.
So tell me, in terms of, I know that last year you had some backlog of around 4,000 or something unplaced. What could be the identifiable challenges that you think you might be avoiding this year?
In certain areas, we really have pressure. And I'll give you an example. And in Pretoria North, all those schools in Pretoria North, we have pressure. Every year, we struggle to place all the learners. So schools would then open up and use their libraries and other rooms that are not necessarily teaching rooms, just to accommodate those learners. So when parents are not placed, they should not panic, because we will eventually place, particularly if your child is in the system. There is no ways that we will not place your child. That's why we can account and say we have 4,000, then the following week we'll say now we're down to 3,000. It's because your child is in the system. We can see, we know, and we often communicate with such parents on SMS to say your child is not yet placed, but we are looking for placement for your child. As soon as space is available, we will then place your child.
Please take us through the admission regulations. I know that there's a lot of them, but I think you can highlight those that you think you might need to communicate.
In terms of the admission regulations, what I want to emphasize is the fact that in the regulations, proof of address is quite critical, because that's what we use to determine your placement. But what is also critical is parents must be responsive. Parents don't respond. They get offers of placement, they don't respond. They must also remember that when they get offers of placement, it's a space that we plug your child in it. And if you're sitting with 3 or 4 spaces, you're depriving other 3 or 2 people's spaces. So as soon as you can make a decision and accept an offer, then it releases the other spaces so that the system automatically plugs another child in that space. So it's quite critical, because the admissions regulations are saying there's a specific period where parents must accept admission offers. And if they don't accept, then they must forfeit them. However, as a department, we don't make them to forfeit. We struggle with them. We call them to say, you still have an offer that you have not accepted. Because even if they forfeit the offer, they are still going to come back and say, my child is not placed. So we really allow them that space, and we will follow up and continue to do that.
There's a talk of siblings being at a certain school and not. How does it then affect the application process?
Remember also, in terms of the regulations, you can apply using 5 options.
Okay.
Home address within school feeder zone. You can apply using a sibling or the previous school. You can apply using work address. You can apply, I've mentioned, the within 30 kilometers and beyond 30 kilometers of your home address. So a number of schools, because of the pressure, they cannot even place all. So when the list is created on the system, it's created according to those options. The list will prioritize home address within school feeder zone. But then you find a school that has 200 spaces, 600 people who qualify as home address within school feeder zone. So they will place the first 200. 400 can be placed. They will be placed in other schools if they qualify to be placed in those schools. Then that's the system in that school will never even get to sibling. So if we applied using sibling, then that sibling cannot be even prioritized, because already the school is full. That's why the system, people saying the system splits siblings. But sibling is not a priority. Because a priority is home address within school feeder zone. But also, we know that the issue of sibling is also creating a movement of learners from far to that school because the child has a sibling. We're trying to stabilize the system now, that at least it can truly accommodate people who live in that community of the school. So if you are a sibling and you live within the community, it will prioritize you because you live within the community and you have a sibling in a school. But if you're just a sibling coming from far, getting into that space, it will not prioritize that second sibling because they come from far.
And then, Uti Ulindi, where Beverly, Uti, what can you do if you are moving to a different address in October? Let's say, for an example, you apply, then you are moving to a different address. Are you still having any option to maneuver?
Yes, no, we do look after people who are relocating. Look, life is life, and if perhaps you applied and you have to relocate, particularly if there's pressing issues, we do look at that. The only important thing is if once your application is in the system, then it becomes easier for us to deal with an issue because we can transfer. There's a functionality to transfer you from one district to the other district or from one area to the other area.
Thank you so much, and I enjoy talking to you. I wish we could also engage much when it's opened and we can just talk. What are the take-homes from whatever that has happened today, and also the advice to parents as you are preparing to open on the 5th of August?
I would say parents must apply. The most important thing is there is no first come, first serve. I know parents will all be waiting for that 1 minute to 8. Don't stress.
Yeah.
You can apply at any time. There is no first come, first serve. It's based on the closest to the school. So even a parent that applies on the last day at 1 minute to close, if they live less than a kilometer from the school or they just live next door to the school, they'll still be prioritized because they'll be up on the list because they live closest to the school. So the first come, first serve type of thing, it's really not working. It's not applied. So parents must relax. Don't get into a panic. Just relax. If you can't do it, come to our offices. We will always assist you.
So no rush at all?
No rush at all. They must do it in their own time for as long as they do it before we close.
Madam, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it.
Okay. So bambi ibika sibuye sovalelisa. Kuyintokozo ke ukuhlala nawe njengalokhu ke sihlezi nawe awuthi ke nje ngivele ngibize ke amagama wenu njengoba ke ngiyazi ukuthi ke nibe nayo nemibuzo enibe nayo kulolu suku lwanamhlanje kodwa ke sihlezi sikuthokozela ukuthi ke sikwazi ke ukuhlala nani. Ngiyathemba ukuthi ke nokho lezi inkulumo esinethulela zona zibalulekile futhi ke ziyakwazi ukuthi ke zinisize nikwazi ukuthi ke nibe nayo information. Shudufadzo siyabonga, Liyakhoza siyabonga, Mjereza siyabonga, idate ke yi5 Mjereza, Tebza Khune siyabonga kakhulu, Veronica thank you so much, uba nomunye uKoketso Ela siyabonga, Prudence Mkhabela, ubane uvusa awusporo uyaphila, akavula sporo uvula nge5, Hlengiwe Hle siyabonga, Yolanda Mhlabeni, Lindiwe Beverly, Nombuso Bhelekazi uyaphila sisi uright kodwa ngagcina nini, Upula yamahlongonolo, Mashama Yete Sithole Lina thank you so much, Khumalo Perfumes uyaphila Perfumes, umfoka bani Perfumes la umfoka baba noma mhlawumbe ilona business. Ngiyaqala ukuzwa kuthiwa kunomuntu Perfumes igama lakhe, angikuhleki njalo ukuthi ke ngumuntu amangcoko Khumalo uyaphila kodwa Mbulazi yini ube Perfumes kulungile ke Khumalo mfakakithi, hayi siyabonga kakhulu. Uba nomunye la usisi Cynthia Shabangu, Charity Dube, Mpatsi Musiwu, nabanye ke ebesinabo abangakwazanga ukuthola ithuba ke lokuphawula kodwa ukuthi ke sihlezi nabo kulolu suku lwanamhlanje. We really appreciate you, siyasa appreciate futhi ke nesikhathi senu enisithathayo. Uthi ke amanye ama grades kuvulwa nini kusho ke uAquinas no ngoba ke udouble qhubekayo Aquinas okwanamhlanje besabheke nje lokho. Ubonile futhi no grade R ukuthi niya manual esikoleni ba isolated from isystem there ama admissions. Igama lami mina ke ngingumfanelo UPhenyibheshu, ngingowakwaDzanibe isibongo, angihambi ngedwa, ukhona ubanele uBrazo Sondlo, Derek Short by Hauser, Phukela umuhawu mawuthanda umuhawu, bese ke kuba kuba uAsisipho Figland, uAsisipho ke yena ke ube ngale uSticks, ube ngaphaka uDerek kambe naye like guys nabo Derek times 2, bese ke kuba insizwa lapha yana madoda usihle umfoka ngweni, siyabonga kakhulu. Insizwa lokuthi akhona amanzi, phuzana amanzi, athe suka lapho avela sithengele sparkling water, bese ngithi angiyaphuza amanzi. Siyabonga kakhulu, thank you so much.